Pep Talk UK. It's time!
Everyone talk good game, but it don't really faze me. The man that ain't mad like Max, the boy that not murky like Ace B. And them gal walk the slide on the back bar, lean like a baby.
Oi, oi, welcome to the Pep Talk UK Sports Podcast, the podcast that talks the major boxing and football news from around the globe, real points of view from a real panel. Hashtag Real Talk on Pep Talk. Please subscribe to Pep Talk UK on iTunes and YouTube. Don't forget to like, share and comment. I'm your host Frankie B and I'm joined by a sick panel today. First, I'd like to welcome from the capital city of France, Paris, Pascal. How are ya?
Bonsoir, mesdames et messieurs. Pascal est de retour. Frankie B, mon ami. How are you?
Mate, I'm all ready for today. I was listening to some Mobb Deep earlier. You know, they shook.
The Shook Ones version.
Shook Ones.
Classic hip hop, you know. Very, very classic. Very classic. Very classic indeed.
I was just wondering, like, do you think hip hop's dead now? Because, you know, Soulja Boy, all these new guys, man, it's just not the same.
Right, it's a different generation, you know, different type of taste, different type of music, you know. I mean, for instance, you know, I'm a big fan of James Brown, but, you know, nobody listens to James Brown nowadays, you know. So it's a vintage taste. But, you know, hip hop will never die. It's just a different flavor.
Yeah, maybe it is, I suppose. Okay, and now I'd like to welcome a man that's joining us for the first time, a man that is a US correspondent for the Boxing News magazine UK, is Kenny Buhari. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me.
Welcome to Pep Talk UK. And I'd like to say to you, first of all, y'all be tripping sometime. Y'all be tripping.
I like to say that, no, y'all be tripping sometimes.
Hey, so you're from Jersey, Brick City?
I'm actually from New York. That's right.
We're just talking about Mobb Deep.
Yeah, I love them too. And you know what he said was, what my French friend said was right on point, because it just changes. Hip hop just changes with the times. Although personally, if you were to ask me that, I'd say it's dead, because it's dead to me at this point, because I can't listen to it anymore.
Oh man, I keep finding I have to go back to my old DJ Clue mixtapes. You know?
Oh yeah, I remember having to go downtown and find those for $3. I don't even think you can find those anymore.
So do you want to tell the listeners what you do boxing wise in terms of your writing?
Oh sure. I've been writing for Boxing News, a magazine based in the UK, for close to a decade now. This will be my 10th year. And I've written for various other websites and so forth here in the US. I've worked in West Africa as well with the Ghana government.
Okay. So you know about that jollof rice and fufu, yeah?
Ghana does the best. That's what I know. Worked with them, done a lot of stuff related to the sport. Have a really good article that'll be dropping tomorrow on Boxing News regarding PBC, with interviews with some of the bigger names in the sport, Stephen Espinoza of Showtime, wow. Tim Smith of PBC, Virgil Hunter, Andre Ward's trainer, all in the article. Great article, so I urge you guys to check it out.
That sounds nice. So, Kenneth, do you want to shout out your social media?
Well, for sure. Check me out at K Buhari on Twitter. That's KBouhairie. Same name on IG. Drop me a line. Always good to have healthy debate, healthy discussion. It's all love at the end of the day.
Brilliant. So finally, I'd like to also welcome, for the first time, a heavyweight boxer soon looking to turn pro and have his first pro fight. can we welcome Lewis Razor Robinson? How you doing, Geese?
Yeah, not too bad, Frankie. Yourself?
Yeah, not bad. I'm just wondering how Broad Street is these days, you know?
It's I've got to stay away from places that are right now to be disciplined, so I can't answer that one at the minute.
So basically, you're in camp. You're getting ready for your first pro fight, and you're all ready.
That's it. Stay off the beer for a bit. Bit of a downfall. But,
so what you got lined up for 2017?
It's obviously try to be as busy as I can. Get out there as much as I can, and then maybe get 5-6 fights under my belt, and then looking towards the end of the year or start of 2018, maybe area title and go the English route, and hopefully obviously go to a British route, and then see where we're at then. But yeah, I mean, team believe in me, I believe in myself. Just gotta go for it and keep training, be dedicated, and then we'll see what happens along with that.
Basically, you got to motivate yourself and say, "Let's go, champ."
In the words of Shannon Briggs, that's it.
Ladies and gents, attention please for fight fans locked in. Attention please for football fans locked in. Now it's time for some real talk on Pep Talk. Let's go. So we're going to start with the boxing. We are going to have to firstly talk about the massive unification fight between James DeGale and Badou Jack, which ended in a draw. Pascal, what a fight.
Superb.
Brilliant fight. Would you call it about right, a draw?
Well, Frankie B, if you recall, I always said that Badou Jack would be the troublesome fighter, you know, because, you know, in my estimation, Badou Jack is much more improved, you know. With James again, we know what he was going to bring to the table, you know. Very good footwork, flashy combinations, a great athleticism, you know, swagger, you know, great boxer. But Badou Jack is your typical classical boxer, very come forward, you know, very attentive, good timing.
He was in his army camouflage wear.
Oh, he was he's in the army camouflage. And, you know, he's from Gambia, and you know they have a military government there. And,
Fingers Pascal,
you know,
when you bring up Papoose, you know you've got to go hard.
Oh, of course, you know, he's a man that knows his hip-hop music, you know, Papoose, shout out to Papoose. But, you know, I was very, very impressed with Badou Jack, and also I was very impressed with his concentration. You know, during the fight, Badou Jack, you know, remained very concentrated, and he got to the point where he understood what James again was going to do, you know, because James again was moving, you know, to his right as a southpaw, which was quite interesting. You know, he was trying to confuse Badou Jack with his movement, but Badou Jack remained focused, and perhaps, you know, the sparring with Chad Dawson helped him, you know, quite a lot to prepare for the fight. But, you know, he was, I mean, to be honest with you, Frankie B, you know, at the point of the 12th round, I had it to draw, you know, but that incredible knockdown, you know. And at that point, I was jumping out my seat, and I thought, ooh, perhaps, just perhaps, Badou Jack may have nicked it by one point, you know. Mm-hmm. And but the draw was certainly exciting. If you want my honest opinion, I would love to see that fight again as a pay-per-view. I think this fight deserves a pay-per-view and MGM Grand, you know, rematch at Las Vegas. I mean, come on, me and you, Frankie B, acting like the you know, the lunatics that we are, would be fantastic there, don't you think?
I'm ready for the Hard Rock Cafe anytime, any MGM.
Of course, let's go.
Viva Las Vegas.
Viva Las Vegas.
So Lewis, being a boxer yourself, what did you think of the fight? How do you analyse the fight as a boxer?
Really enjoyable. I mean, I was really impressed with Badou Jack. Looks like he's really stepped up. Obviously, you just mentioned about the rematch, but they're saying he's going up to light heavy now, so will we see it? I don't know, but it'd be good to see, really good to see. Yeah, like you say, deserves a Vegas shot, pay-per-view, definitely, not just on the normal Sky and obviously Showtime, etc. But yeah, good fight, really good. I had I think a draw was fair. I mean, I had to go ahead, and then obviously we got knocked down in the last round. Obviously, scored a 10-8. So yeah, I think that was a fair result.
What was your overall opinion?
Well, first I want to say that before we get to the scorecards, that the atmosphere at the arena was fantastic. There was a good amount of folks from overseas there. There was a healthy amount of Badu Jack fans, and they were going back and forth. It was all love, but they were going hard for their guy, and it was a great atmosphere. And at the end, I think the consensus was, for the most part, that a draw was fair. I certainly thought a draw was fair. I thought that Jack finished stronger. Perhaps if it was a 15-round fight. If it was a 15-round fight, he may have finished DeGale off. But I really can't say, because DeGale showed a lot of grit. Yeah. He's very tough, and his pedigree also is just incredible. And I watching it in press row, we were all noting how he's just a very hard man to meet, because he's got so many tricks in his toolbox, and so many different things that he can do, whether it's moving, whether it's stand and flurrying, whether it's switching speeds on you, switching the movement on you. He's just very tough, and when you do connect, he can take it. And it took, I think, credit to Jack too. It took a steady pressure over time to wear down an elite fighter in DeGale. And so all praise due to both guys. I think if there's a rematch, Jack's saying there won't be, they're moving up, and I suspect that PBC has their eyes on that was planned well in advance, that they're moving up to something else. But and I don't see any reason for DeGale to move up. He seems like he makes 168 okay, and he can control the division if he wants. But if they do want to do a rematch, maybe a catchweight might work. But I'd love to see it again.
Yeah, because you know what? Interestingly enough, from the fight, what I had noticed was after the knockdown by DeGale in the first round, it seemed like there was a lot of body work from Badu Jack. Like it was like it was a body shot. Do you know what I mean? He was going for the body, because James DeGale's a wicked mover. By slowing him down, I think that's how he managed to get back into the fight.
And Jack is a good body puncher. That's what he's known for. Is he's great to the body. But there's something about his style, because he was robbed against Lucien Boutte as well. I think they call that a draw. There's something about his style. Perhaps his style it's steady, but it's not urgent. Against a fighter like DeGale, that could cost you.
Pascal, what do you see like moving forward? Do you see DeGale fighting Callum Smith?
Well, I think in the first instance, James DeGale will probably be defending his IBF belt, against the Venezuelan. The big fight with Callum Smith, it's certainly a fight that we can see later on in the year. And it will be good to see what Badu Jack decides to do, because, let's just face it, before the fight was announced, a lot of boxing purists and those who follow boxing were intrigued and were looking forward to it. But it now has caught the imagination of the wider public, and the headlines in boxing for the last couple of days were pretty much Badu Jack and James DeGale, so I would certainly think that the public could potentially sway Mr. Mayweather to allow Badu Jack to remain at super middleweight before moving up, because they're planning to fight Adonis Stevenson, and that's a hard fight, if you want my honest opinion, for Badu Jack. Certainly jump in the weight division like that with no warm-up fight it's rather dangerous. But it'll be interesting to see what Mayweather has in store. He's a master of marketing, and I'm pretty sure he has something up his sleeve, But Callum Smith also deserves an opportunity to win a world title. He's been knocking at the door for quite some time. So let's just wait and see. Perhaps domestic showdown, James DeGale coming back to England and then facing Callum Smith will be very good for the British public and for boxing.
It might well be. Now, Lewis, what do you think of possibly Badu Jack moving up in weight and potentially fighting Adonis Superman Stevenson?
Pascal just said, it's a big risk for his first fight at light heavy. Jumping straight in like that. Obviously everyone knows what he's about. Really good, tough fighter. Maybe he should have a warm-up fight first, and then just get to grips with it a bit more.
Get used to the weight first.
That's it, and then go in. But obviously Mayweather believes in him. He believes in himself. So obviously it's a money fight as well, isn't it? So, as they say, boxing's a business. So.
Money fight, money team.
Exactly.
Ken, how do you,
Yes.
if that fight happens between Badou Jack and Adonis Stevenson, what do you see as the likely outcome?
I think you have to go with Stevenson. I know he's going to be 40 this year. I think he is starting to show signs that he's slipping maybe a little
Ken,
bit.
that's the year when you turn 40. That's the year you buy yourself a motorbike.
You might buy yourself a little more than that. Feel brand new. You know, I think he's a very, very young 39. I think Adonis Stevenson is very dangerous. I know that there's been a lot of there's been a media slant sort of against him, portraying that he's ducking fighters. I think if you were to look a little more closely what happened with the purse bid and so forth, especially with Kovalev, that you'll see that he's not ducking at all. And he's not worth the risk for a lot of people. He's not worth the fighters. So I understand why they're moving up Badou Jack. Badou Jack himself is 33, so he's not necessarily a spring chicken. And they need to create opponents for Stevenson because he just doesn't have that many. So I think it's a very dangerous fight for Jack, and I think Stevenson knocks him out.
Well, as Snoop would say, ooh wee. Now, on that same card, the same Jack DeGale card, we saw a masterful performance from a young star called Gervonta Davis, who beat Jose Pedraza. Now, Ken, staying with you. This guy is only 22 years old. He looks like he's got the world at his feet.
Exactly, and that was a star-making performance. I mean, I was watching the fight, and I was just, when he was playing to the crowd and the things he was doing, and I said, man, this kid knew he was going to go in there and obliterate this guy, and that Pedraza, who's a solid champion, not a great champion, but a solid champion, he knew that he had nothing for him. So the sky is the limit for him, but again, it really boils down to how focused he's going to be. I know that he's had beef with Mayweather in the past because Mayweather feels that he's not focused or he's not doing the things that he needs to, and that there were issues. Mayweather wanting him to go out to Vegas and train there, Davis wanting to stay in his hometown of Baltimore. But I tell you what, if he keeps producing these kind of results, what can you say? So we'll see. I think the sky's the limit for that kid.
Sure is. He looked fantastic, I must say. Ooh wee, I must say. Ooh wee. So, Pascal, a lot of people are comparing him to a young Mike Tyson or Mayweather himself.
It's still very, very early to bring him in that category, with all due respect to Tank, he's a very good fighter with a very good amateur pedigree. But, before you can be mentioned in that bracket of those fighters, there's a lot that he has to do and he has to achieve. But, if you look at some comparisons, some interesting facts, he's a very young, world champion. Mike Tyson was also very young when he won his world titleship at the age of 21, so he's looking very promising. But the concern is obviously can a young 22-year-old remain focused and remain committed to the sport of boxing, because we all know with the adulation comes the groupies, the women, and that's at the age of, and at the tender age of 22, can he remain focused? That's certainly the first question that Gervonta will have to ask himself and the rest of the public. And secondly, the lightweight division is not the most exciting division, and he's gonna have to probably go up to a few weight divisions to catch the attention of other pundits, and that is where there could be some interesting fights. You've got Lomachenko at a different weight class that could potentially be an opponent for him. But if I was the Mayweather camp, I would just steady cruise to Gervonta, let him defend the title, defend the title, of course, develop, go unify the division maybe, and then take him to another weight division. But I'm very excited about this young boy. When he was fighting, the performance reminded me a bit when Floyd Mayweather fought Arturo Gatti. You know, he was toying with Getty. He knew he was a better fighter than Getty, and Gervonta, you know, was certainly very confident, very nonchalant at times, you know, playing with Pedraza, you know, and he's certainly a well-deserved performance, and we are looking forward to see many more of that. You know, the sport of boxing is certainly reviving itself very well, you know, and I'm very excited.
Me too. I am really gassed up about this fighter.
Already he's saying that he wants to start dating Rihanna now. I mean, you just don't let the women go to your head.
That will boost his social media, that's for sure.
That could also be the downfall of Gervonta.
No. Nicki Minaj is now single.
He'll probably be on that next as well.
Just keep him in the gym, you know. That's what I say, you know. Keep him in the gym, you know.
As long as he avoids a Kardashian, he'll be okay.
That's real talk right there. Okay, guys, now it's interview time. Our boxing correspondent Shaz, whilst at the Matchroom exclusive boxing gym, spoke with the middleweight fighter John Ryder.
Pep Talk UK are joined by a guy that's been around, that's had a good career so far, and has got a big fight coming up. It's Mr. Ryder, the gorilla himself. How you doing?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. How are you?
I'm always well. Now, I've obviously plugged your fight coming up. Who you fighting, where you fighting, and when you fighting?
I'm fighting Adam Etches on the 4th of February at the Kensington Olympia for the IBF Intercontinental Super Middleweight title.
What undercard are you on? Whose card are you on? Eubank against Quinlan. Yeah, good card to be on. It's going to be on ITV. Yeah. Exposure. It's. I know you've had good fights on some of the other channels like Sky, but now you're on ITV. I grew up watching ITV, so massive exposure for you, a massive platform.
No, a great platform. And previous weeks the show looked a bit like it was on its arse, but I mean they've come through and they've brought out a terrific card. Do you know what I mean? What with David Price, Kid Galahad, myself, and Adam Etches. I just think it's going to be a good card. There'll be some good undercard 4-round fights that I'm told will be on there, so I think it'll be a great night of boxing.
You're coming off the back of a loss. You're now going to, which was a terrific fight. You're now going to be moving up in weight. How's that going to affect your training or your prep?
Already, I'm enjoying training a lot more. I sparred 12 rounds yesterday. I'm 4 full weeks out, but so that's good. I mean, before the last fight, I'd only got 12 rounds out once the week before the fight, so just shows where I'm at now and where I was at. That wasn't all down to weight, but it's just the sparring opportunities, and we're lucky now. We've got a lot of boys in the gym around the same weight. We can all work together, which is good. But yeah, I think I served my time at middleweight. I'd been there since I was 15. 28 now. I think I've naturally got bigger, developed, got grown, and I've probably tried to put a cap on it too much, but now I'm giving myself room to grow a bit, and hopefully I don't think I'm a fully fledged super middleweight yet, but with room to grow I will develop into it.
You've got a camp coming up abroad. You're going to be abroad over the next couple of weeks. Where are you flying off to?
Yeah, we're slipping out to Portugal next week sometime, just to get a last bit of warm weather training. I mean, I don't think it's blazing over there, but it's a bit nicer than it is here, and the cold weather we're expecting. So just be nice to go out there and have a bit uninterrupted. I mean, we've not had it too easy here lately. We've been going for track sessions, and then the track's been frozen over, so we couldn't do that. So then we've been coming back to do treadmill sessions, and just all a bit interrupted. So it'd be nice to get out there. We'll all get our heads down. We're all in this for the same reason, same purpose, and it'd just be nice to get away and change the scenery.
You're also an avid football fan. Now, I support a proper football club, as you know. Give a shout out to who you support.
I'm an Arsenal fan, for all my sins. I mean, when you're 3-0 down and you show the heart to come back and to score 3 goals in the last minute, then I think that shows a bit of desire. So I'm not too sad to say I'm an Arsenal fan.
Alright, we're going to... A controversial question for you. Wenger in or out?
In.
You like Wenger?
it's not that I don't like him. I think he's done great things for the club. I wish he weren't such an is it economist? Is it that word?
I think it's just a Scrooge and a miser.
Yeah, I wish he wasn't so tight with his money, because it'd be nice to attract some absolute superstars. I mean, we're lucky we've got the likes of Sanchez and Giroud and Ozil, but I mean, next level superstars. You know what I mean? Your Ronaldo's, your Suarez, your Messi's. I mean, it'd be nice to see a big name like that come to the club. But yeah, we're doing well, but it'd be nice to see us push for a bit of silverware this year.
Well, I'm going to be at the Olympia. I'm going to watch you in action. I wish you all the best on fight night. I'll be ringside watching you, cheering you on, and let's hope you get that win.
Lovely, that. Fingers crossed.
And as always, it's always been a pleasure, and thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.
Also training at the Matchroom Boxing Gym was a welterweight prospect by the name of Ted Cheeseman.
Pep Talk UK are joined by an up-and-coming youngster, Mr. Ted Cheeseman. How you doing, Ted?
Yeah, good, mate. You?
I'm always well. You've had a bit of a session already this morning. What have you been doing?
We've been in the gym this morning since 7, doing our hill sprints and then the circuits after. So now we've had breakfast, relaxed, and now we're just about to start a second session today.
Ted, it's almost like you live at the gym.
Yeah, to be honest, in it now we are sort of basically living out the gym. But I'm not far from here, and we're in here. We've done it. I've relaxed in there in the gym. We're going to do our next session, and I've got another session tonight. And we've just organised now. Next week on Monday, we're going out to Portugal for 2 weeks for a training camp all together. So
sounds good. A bit of sun as well.
Yeah, a bit of warm weather training.
Well, by the time this podcast comes out, you're going to be in the sun enjoying yourself. So think of us, Paul, so still bearing the cold.
Yeah, I will do.
I was fortunate enough to be ringside to watch you in action against someone called Elliot at Wembley.
Yeah.
There was a lot of trash talk beforehand. Mr. Lloyd Hannigan even got involved in that one.
Yeah.
I was worried for you that fight, because you had the guy on the ropes, you started punching with a barrage of punches, and then momentarily you almost stepped away and then realised you're still fighting, and then went to town on the guy again. What happened?
Yeah, to be honest, Lloyd had a good fight here, and his record was like red hot on paper, but I knew I had the beating of him, to get what I mean. So I knew it was about taking my time. He come out in the first round and was a bit ragged all over the place, trying to throw out quite a few shots, but I thought, I ain't going to let my head get mixed up in it. I'm just going to box. Sooner or later I'll pick the right shot, and all of a sudden I did pick the right shot, and as I landed a shot, he sort of went like he's going to go down, but if you watch the video, he bounced back off the rope. So as I stepped away, I've looked back and I've seen his bounce backs, and then I threw a barrage of shots, and then the ref jumped in. But like some people said, it's early, but it's only the second round. His first really proper shot I landed, I knew anytime I was going to stop him anytime soon. So whatever it is early, and I'd love to have a rematch. It'd be nice. That'd be nice. Comfortable fight again, do you know what I mean? So, but no disrespect to Lloyd, he's a nice fellow. I'm good mates with him beforehand, so good luck to him in the future.
A little bird, aka Mr. Wayne Cheeseman, Wayne Cheeseman tells me that you're quite good at football in the day.
Yeah, like back in the day, I love football. To be honest, even now still, I'd love to be a footballer, but obviously now boxing's my route. But yeah, I was good when I got in. I went to London Nautical School, and to be honest, when I got in there, they only accepted like 90 kids a year. And the reason I got in, where I lived was Southwark, and I was Southwark gifted and talented in football. So that's like part of the reason I got into the school, because it was a sports academy as well, like a sports college. So that's the reason I got in. And what happened is I was captain of the team. We won the league, won the cup, and then next year when we come back, like we even went had Fulham football trials, like Fulham development, but I was born in August, so I was sort of like the littlest in the year, where September is like the oldest, so it's like a whole year difference near enough. So obviously people got big kids and stuff, so I was a bit out in the age group. But like when we come back for pre-season, no one really come back, so I started at another team, and then I didn't really enjoy it as much, and that's how I started boxing, and from then I never looked back.
No, I'm a Leeds fan. Who just pulled?
Millwall. I'm a local boy, Burnley.
Who?
Millwall.
Who?
Millwall.
Do you know what, Ted? There's only you and I here. The rest of the boxers aren't around. So even if we got in a fist fight, I'll end up on the floor getting beaten up. And I don't really fancy that today. I've seen you fight, and I've seen you put someone away only a couple of months back. And I don't want to. For today, we'll put it down as Millwall 1, Leeds 0. How's that sound?
That's all right.
You won this battle. Well, I'll let you have it today. I ain't got none of my panel with me. Otherwise, we'd even the odds a little bit. For people that, what's planned for you for the rest of the year? What you got going?
To be honest, hopefully, like, I'm in training camp now. Like, hopefully, it's looking like I could be on the Hay versus Tony Bellew. So fingers crossed, I might get the English title fight on there or something else. So I'm just waiting, and everything's like all negotiations and everything going on now. So fingers crossed, it all comes off. But it's not really and truly. Like, I've just, like, yesterday I was on box rec. I'm 14th in box rec in my weight now. I'm only 21. I've only had 7 fights, so I'm doing well at where I am now. And all it takes is one good win. I'll be in probably the top 5. So at least top 10. So I'm there or thereabouts. And by the end of the year, I'm going to be pushing for big titles. So,
well, we're looking forward to it. For people that are listeners that want to give you a follow on social media, what are your handles?
Yeah, on Instagram, my name is Ted Cheeseman 1995, and T Cheeseman 1995, and on Twitter, I'm at Ted_Mr. Fisher. So give me a follow.
Anyone else you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, this week as well, I gained a new sponsor, so I'd like to give a shout out to Matt V Juice for getting behind me and becoming a part of the team.
You're a talented lad. You've got a bright future ahead of you. We at Pep Talk are going to be following you not only this year but through the rest of your career. Give my love to your family. Your dad's a lovely bloke. You've got a nice family around you, and anything we can do, we'll always be willing to help and come down and see you.
Yeah, cheers, Shaz. Thanks a lot. Thanks, man.
Thank you, Shaz. Nice. Now it's football time. So the massive shock result of last weekend was Manchester City going down 4-0 to Everton at Goodison. Now, Pascal, Tony Bellew will be mad happy, but Guardiola will be pissed. Why? Exactly. Why are Man City so fragile?
Well, first and foremost, let's address the elephant in the room, which is Bravo. This is a terrible name for him. He should be called, worst mistake. To some extent, Frankie B, I'm actually very happy that this is happening, because Pep Guardiola did not give Joe Hart enough opportunity to prove himself. Bravo, yes, he might have won 2 Copa Americas, but that doesn't really make you a very good goalkeeper. I mean, no disrespect to the South Americans, but, they're not very well known for their defensive abilities,
Atrocious goalkeeping.
Absolutely. So, and certainly at that level of football, your defense, particularly in English football, is very important. Certainly I would like to see Joe Hart back in the Manchester City shirt. Or certainly back in England, but in the first instance, Pep Guardiola just giving a dose of reality, that you cannot just swan around Manchester and expect to be winning the league title.
The Premiership is different.
It's a very different kettle of fish. It takes a lot more mental strength. And the pretty football doesn't really work. I mean, Arsene Wenger would tell you that himself. So I think from that point of view, Frankie, I think that also, the way that he handled players like Yaya Touré and other, I think that Pep Guardiola is being given a dose of reality, and he's back to the drawing board for Manchester City. They're going to have to reconsider, some players in the squad. It's going to be a lot of players going out, I believe, and Guardiola is going to have to spend the rest of it in summer school and start looking at, how the English Premiership works and operates, because it's certainly very different from the Bundesliga and from La Liga.
Yeah, I think Man City need about minimum 6 players.
Of course, very much so.
Goalkeeper, 2 full-backs. They need maybe another 2 midfielders, and I think they need another striker. Because I think Aguero's just gone off the ball. He's just like, look, I just want to change teams. When players go stale and it's that time to move them on? I think that's the case with Aguero. Louis, what do you think? Do you think Guardiola's struggling to get his continental ideas across in the Premiership?
Obviously, it's known that the Premier League's a really tough league, and they say that how quick teams press you, and if you're on the ball, you get no time to breathe. Obviously, in the La Liga, you see they have a lot more time. I think his way of playing, he just needs to have a rethink. Again, like you've just been talking about, to get rid of Joe Hart, I mean, he's having absolute brilliant season over in Italy.
I think it's the pasta. It's the pasta helping him.
But yeah, I mean,
Calzone.
It's just even in the dressing room. Apparently, he's a character, but obviously he's probably kicking himself for Bravo's performance and the money they spent on him as well. It's shocking. But
I think he's laughing his head off every weekend. He's probably sitting with his calzone and hot chocolate.
he's got to be laughing at that. But
it's a bit of a mad one. So, guys, moving on to the massive game that was at Old Trafford last weekend, which ended 1-1 between Manchester United and Liverpool. Now, Pascal, what the hell was Pogba doing? Dabbing in the air to give away a penalty?
It's very much Paul Pogba is an enigma. He's an enigma.
He's your compatriot, mate.
Because look, I love my French people all over the world. I'm very proud of Paul Pogba, and he's very much managed to to defraud Manchester United of £100 million. He's done that very well. I mean, he's certainly not worth £100 million. I mean, come on, he's a very good talent, but for £100 million, you have to be ready-made. You have to be a Gareth Bale. You have to be a Ronaldo, Messi. If Pogba is worth 100 million, how much is Ronaldo worth? How much is Messi worth? 200, 300 million? The problem with Pogba is, he still plays, to me, in my mind, he still plays very nervously. He's still very much concerned about the price tag. The Manchester United fans are expecting a lot from him.
But he's got a new emoji though.
Well, look, he's very good at marketing, and because of the price tag, there's a lot of attention on him. So, Adidas are doing very well in selling their clothes, but, we want to see a Pogba performing in the Premier League, and even myself, Rakibi, I support Arsenal, as you know, but it's good for the Premier League to have good players that come in and perform, and a player of his caliber, to give away a penalty like that, certainly, I think, to me, that was a bit of a nail in the coffin for Manchester United, because they've not been able to beat Liverpool in the first leg. It was a boring stalemate. For the return leg, Liverpool were winning the game, through the penalty, and he took an equalizing goal from Ibrahimovic to get them back level. And, to me, it just shows that Manchester United are also a bit behind when it comes to the Premier League title. And, just as when they were getting some momentum, they're now beginning to slow down again. And, it's time to rebuild in Lancashire. I think both Manchester United teams need a few more players. It's still not over yet.
Yeah, that's true. But what about the game itself, Lewis? Did you find it was well evenly matched? Was it a fair result between United and Liverpool?
I'll be honest with you, mate. I turned it off after about half hour. It was boring.
You just saw Milner cruising down the wings. He said, "You know what?
Good old Jimmy." Yeah. Ever since he left Villa, I haven't forgiven him.
Yeah. I'm back in the day he left Aston Villa. That's right. Yeah, 25
yeah, but
yep.
Well, it all caused O'Neill to leave, and that's when we've been downhill since.
I mean, it was kind of a tight game. Nobody wanted to lose, but what it showed me is that Man United are getting better overall. And Man United always come good traditionally, well, historically, should I say, in the second half of the season, and they're finding the balance in their team now, I've noticed. So who knows?
I still think they definitely need to strengthen massively. There's just obviously over the years they've always had a player with flair, and they obviously, and Ronaldo, always United have had a good player with flair. It's an exciting player, but in that team I do not see that kind of player.
There's a lot of graft in the team, you're basically saying.
Yeah, but for me, there's not a game changer in that team. So.
Yeah, it was meant to be Pogba.
A world beater, if you like. But yeah, I mean, obviously paying 100 million for Pogba, that's just ridiculous. Like you say, how much is Ronaldo? How much is Messi worth if he's 100 million? Jeez.
I think
Van Lahore might be worth some.
But Ibrahimovic, in fairness, he's doing really, really well. I mean, he's 35 and he's taken to the Premiership like a duck to water. Goals galore.
What's he? Is he 89 now or 89 or something? 99 or something?
Yes, he's in a hot streak, getting goals. You know,
it's good to see. Really good to see. I mean, obviously, Rio took him on, and they're in talks now. And I think I see something yesterday about another year contract extension now. So
for Ibra,
but yeah,
big up Ibra. Now, Pascal, Spurs, they were flying high in second place. Now,
very, very good side.
Now, I know you're an Arsenal man, but are Spurs for real?
Oh, yes, I am.
Are they for real, though? Are they for real?
Well, you know, Frankie, I hate to admit it to myself. You know, sometimes it's a very difficult situation. You know, it's like putting on weight after the Christmas and telling yourself that you're still skinny. You know, it's very much the case that Tottenham are, in my opinion, Frankie, they're the team to beat. You know, they're the team to beat. They've got a tremendous momentum. They have a very good overall squad. He's an excellent player, you know, goes, comes forward very, very, very well, very skillful. And of course, Harry Kane is just scoring goals after goals after goals. And Pochettino has got himself a very good squad, very good team. Dele Alli should take Adrian Warner's, nickname. He's the problem. He's a very, very big problem for a lot of defenders, and a lot of teams cannot handle him. You know, he's a very, very skillful player, and he's still very much a young man that's still playing his trade, you know. So I'm very concerned, you know, from an Arsenal point of view, because, you know, they are certainly now title contenders. I mean, their performance is probably due to the fact that the European fixtures have not yet started. So Pochettino is able to, to organize this team much better week after week, you know, and Tottenham certainly seems to be handling less of the European fixtures. Now it'll be interesting to see when the UEFA Cup schedule kicks in whether Tottenham can maintain the momentum. But in the interim period, I mean, gosh, they are picking up some good points, and they are doing that very well. Scoring an average of 3 goals per game is very frightening.
And they've got a solid defence. One of the best. Well, they've got the best defensive unit in the Premiership. A lot of people say they've got the 2 best full-backs, and they've got Alderweireld and Vertonghen in the middle, which is pretty solid. I'd say so solid.
Very so solid. I mean, Mega Man, shout out to Mega Man.
Romeo, Lisa Mafia.
Yeah,
21 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll be very proud.
Yeah, they're looking strong. If Leicester can do it, like I said, if Leicester can do it, that means any team has got a chance. Blatantly.
But listen, Frankie B, I cannot allow this, you know, even from Paris. Tottenham should not be allowed anywhere near the Premiership title, you know. Yeah, but look, I'm just patiently waiting, and hopefully the European fixtures will make it very difficult. I mean, who wants to play in Romania on a Thursday night, you know, and coming back to the Premiership? It's very tough. It's very tough, and we'll see whether the Tottenham boys become Tottenham men, you know.
Yeah. Well, over to the other side of North London, Arsenal, they made light work of Swansea away at the Liberty Stadium, but Sanchez was pulling a bit of a strop. Now, Lewis, it's the writing on the wall. Is Sanchez truly fed up with Arsenal?
I think he's got to be, hasn't he? I mean, he's a player that wants to win things, and obviously, you see all the time Arsenal fans criticising Wenger and saying he don't buy and this, that and the other. Apparently the money's there, so why not go out there and
just give him the contract?
Why not buy that's it. So, I don't know, it's just you gotta obviously he's a player that wants to win the best out there, and he could probably walk into any team in the world to win things. So obviously in his own head he knows what he wants. So. Yeah, he's a player that needs to win titles and trophies, and will Arsenal do that? The FA Cup every year, it's not good enough, is it?
Yeah, I think it's gone beyond that now. Arsenal need to really challenge for the Premiership, because if Leicester can do it and Arsenal can't achieve what Leicester achieved last season. Man City are in problems. They need to rebuild. Man United are rebuilding. They're in a rebuilding phase. Chelsea, they look good. But realistically, Arsenal have got a chance. I mean, if they can't do it this year, when are they going to do it? Because sooner or later, City are going to buy about 6 players for big money. Man United are going to keep buying.
Will beat us.
Yeah, Man United linked to Griezmann again. If they get Griezmann, that's a problem. So Arsenal need to really sort it out. Are they going to challenge or what? Do you know what I mean?
They've got to.
But Frankie B, you know, I mean, look, I certainly believe that Arsenal are sorted out. It's the problem is, you know, we have to address the frog in our rooms, pardon the pun, but is Mr. Wenger. You know, it's you know, we have to certainly, you know, we have to point the finger at him, because, you know, he certainly has a very good team, very good squad. I mean, if give this squad to Jurgen Klopp, you know, look what he's achieved with the Liverpool side. You know, I cannot name you one Liverpool player that plays for this team, but he's done a very good job with them. And if you bring a talent like Jurgen Klopp in Arsenal squad, the current squad, you'll realize that the team is full of potential, and you would make world-class players out of average players. My concern is that, well, sir, you know, I respect Arsène Wenger énormément, and very, you know, as a fellow French person, I'm very supportive of any French achievement internationally. But there comes a point where we don't want Arsène Wenger to be remembered, you know, as Napoleon when he was beaten up by Waterloo, by by Admiral Nelson. It's very embarrassing in French history, you know, and every time I come to London, I see the Admiral statue, an industrial statue in Trafalgar Square, and it should be Napoleon. And that is because Napoleon lost the war. Now, Arsène Wenger will not get a statue at Arsenal if he continues to annoy the fans, you know, if he continues not to perform. So it's important for him to decide to walk away.
The funny thing is, Pascal, if Wenger hears this podcast, he'll deliberately sign a new contract just to prove you wrong.
Well, you know, I mean, and that's the problem that we have, you know. And sometimes, you know, some of the greats needs to learn when it's time to retire. Roy Jones didn't learn when it's time to retire, and look what's happened here. Bernard
Rocky Balboa.
You know, Hopkins also, you know, and Wenger is at risk of tarnishing his legacy if he carries on renewing his contract and not performing. You know, Arsenal are no longer the performing club that they used to be, you know, and I mean, sometimes I will listen to our friend Trooper on YouTube, and in Wales he's a bit more passionate about you know, his dislike for Wenger. I do not dislike Wenger, but I just believe that it's time for Arsenal to inject a new sense of freshness, of effervescence that the team no longer has. We have a very good squad. I mean, you know, Sanchez can walk to any club. You know, as a matter of fact, Conte wants to buy Sanchez. We're very interested in Sanchez. Ozil can go into any club. You know, we've got, you know, Lucas Perez, you know, give credit to Wenger, good player, but, you know, he's not playing consistently. Even Giroud, you know, himself, Giroud has been quite impressive. You know, the problem we have is the tactical point of view, is the energy, is the passion, and I think Wenger, you know, is slowly showing a lack of that.
So, what you're saying, Pascal, you don't want him there?
well,
basically.
It's I mean, look, there comes a time, you know, I mean, it's a bit like a relationship, you know,
yeah.
When you're 22 years old, your girlfriend thinks you're the Duracell battery, you're very strong, you go on and on and on. But as you get older, you know, question, she'll say, well, you know, not for the past achievement, but you know, the performance is not as exciting, you know, and sometimes, you know, it's time to accept that you're no longer as good as you were.
Happily shot you for Steve Bruce.
No, Steve Bruce is the step too far.
But who would you like to see at Arsenal then in the hot seat if Wenger goes?
That's a very good question, Louis. You know, I would like to see somebody like Diego Simeone. You know, I think Simeone at Arsenal would be very well, because, you know, it's the same philosophy as Atletico Madrid, Atletico Madrid are not the biggest club in Spain, but they perform really well. And they always produce very good players, and and they're always thereabouts Champions League. And
do you know who I'd like to see as next Arsenal manager? Shannon Briggs, because he'll get the players motivated. Let's go, champ.
Let's go, champ.
Shannon Briggs.
Do you think Henry would ever end up there? Or?
He looks like he's making his money at Sky, so I think he's well comfortable. And after the Gary Neville debacle at Valencia, I think he can see from somebody else's mistakes not to do that.
Isn't Henry now the assistant to Roberto Martinez at Belgium?
Yeah, he is.
Yes, he is. I mean, look, for Arsenal fans to see Henry at the Emirates Stadium would be great, but it's again, some players do not always make the best managers.
Well, of course, you see
and also I think I will even go as far as saying that depending on the type of player you are, because for instance, to me, in my opinion, the players who were midfielders are better managing than players who were strikers. If you look at Zidane did a great job at Real Madrid. Conte himself is doing a good job at Chelsea. Simeone, of course, is doing a very good job at Atletico Madrid. And if you look at the position these men were playing, they were playing in the middle or even in defense. They had a very good, they had a better view of the game. As a striker, your view of the game is very limited. And I'm just concerned that the transition of Thierry Henry as a manager from the strike position could be blurred, and he may not quite understand the game from the back, So that's the only concern.
Okay.
But you good.
Well, guys, the Premiership's back again this weekend, and the massive game is that we feature and that we're going to try and predict is Manchester City versus Spurs at the Etihad Stadium. So Man City cannot lose because Guardiola he's losing his marbles, mate, and the pressure is getting hot on him. Pascal, predictions, Man City Spurs?
Oh, okay, Frankie B, now listen to this. This is a very interesting game. I'll tell you why. Because Spurs need to win the game to still remain in the title. And Manchester City need only also to win their game after the shameful performance against Everton. But for me, the momentum is with Tottenham. Therefore, my prediction will be a 3-1 victory to the boys in white.
That must break your heart to say that.
It's very difficult.
Oh my gosh.
Unfortunately, Frankie B, I'm trying to be objective in my banditry, in my observation. And as much as it hurts me to say that, we have to take the facts, and we have to observe, and we have to be intelligent in our debates.
I can see you singing Tony Braxton tonight. Unbreak My Heart.
I won't be singing that, but I have to be fair. I have to be fair, and Tottenham are playing good football. They're the team to beat this season.
Lewis, what do you think? Do you think Spurs are going to topple Man City away?
I think they will. Yeah, I think they will.
Wow.
Especially if they get an early goal, Man City heads are just going to drop massively, especially after that 4-0 the weekend against Everton. So if they concede early, then that's crucial. But if they don't, I think it's going to be 2-1 Spurs.
Yeah.
And that boy Dele Alli, he's some talent. If he stays grounded, then great for obviously English football as well. So.
Yeah. Big up Dele Alli, Ali G. Now,
what's your prediction, Frankie?
I think Man City are going to pull it out the bag. I think it's going to be a 2-0 victory to Man City. I just think Guardiola will set Man City up to expose Spurs. I know they're missing Vertonghen now, so I can see Man City getting the victory. But the problem is for Man City is they can win on Saturday and then go and lose the game after. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's it.
So, and
sounds like Arsenal,
Yeah, I mean that is the Premiership overall. It's just Chelsea being the most.
Anyone could beat anyone as well, can't they, on a day?
That's it. So let's wait and see what happens. But it should be interesting, nevertheless. Now, Lewis, we can't leave without talking about Villa.
We have to.
You know, I know it's not April 1st, but we need to talk about Villa. All right.
My battery's going now.
Now you guys are lying 13th in the Championship.
Okay.
Steve Bruce obviously is your new manager. I mean, what do you see as the best that you can do for this season?
I don't think we'll get promoted this season. I think obviously still be nice to push on and maybe challenge for a playoff position. But if not, then just regroup. Hopefully rebuild in the summer. Get some decent players and some proper leaders in that team who can obviously know what to do to get us out of the league and back up into the big time. I mean, for me, I ain't just saying it 'cause I'm a Villa fan, but one of the most decorated clubs in English history. I mean, with far too big a team to be down there. I mean, the fan base is absolutely brilliant. But then again, you look at the likes of Leeds, you look at the likes of Nottingham Forest. I mean, it is a tough league to get out of.
Yeah,
but
it is. Yeah.
I mean, it's just there's no activity this transfer market. We've got that Sam Johnson on loan from United, and our owner, he's promised this, that, and the other. But I mean, everyone else seems to be buying, but we're just getting nothing. So I see on Twitter today the fans get a bit frustrated, and so yeah. And Villa fans, I mean, they will turn. You know, results don't come in our favour sooner or later. I mean, I know Bruce only lost a couple. I mean, I like Steve Bruce. I think he's the man to do the job for us. You know. I mean, Di Matteo, why we appointed him in the first place, I'll never know.
He won the Champions League, mate.
Come on, I think me and you could have done that with that team.
Yeah, I did it.
But yeah, ever since he done that, I mean, well, no, but yeah, I think if we don't get a playoff position, obviously we ain't gonna get automatic promotion. But if we don't get a playoff position, it'd be nice. So obviously get some good quality in, offload some deadwood. There's so many players now that need to be gone. That I mean, they just don't play for that shirt now. If that's the case, you know, go. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, just hopefully we can get back up either this season via playoffs or next season. As long as we get up, I don't care. But yeah, it's breaking my heart.
well, hopefully there'll be no more trouble on Broad Street, mate. So, alright guys, we're going to round up with transfer talk, tittle tattle. Diego Costa. Now Pascal, surely doesn't want to go for financial reasons.
Well, you know, for Kibé, you know, maybe the chicken chow mein is better in Shanghai than in Chelsea, you know, I mean, we don't know, but you know, I mean, you know what was interesting is I recently read that the Chinese FA are coming under a lot of pressure, you know, because they are spending, you know, ridiculous amount of money on building their own Chinese Super League, and they try to introduce a salary cap, you know, and I think that salary cap will take place. But I mean, let's be honest, I mean, Carlos Tevez, you know, £400,000 a week is ridiculous money. You know, and he's half as good as Ronaldo or Lionel Messi, you know, and he's making them very jealous, you know. I'll tell you that, they're very jealous. But, you know, I think that, you know, Diego Costa is looking at, I mean, let's face it, he's looking at retirement money. He's not 27 years old, we know that. He's more like 37 years old, and he's looking to, you know, to cash out very quickly. And look, I mean, if Costa wants to go, let him go. You know, to me, it's very, very simple. You know, loyalty is very important. You know, and in this game of football, you know, we concentrate too much on the wages, but, you know, the personalities and the substance of players needs to remain the same, you know, and we need to have players that represent their club and conduct themselves very well within their contract. And if a player is sulking because he wants to go to China for 80 million, buy him a plane ticket, send him on business class, and good riddance, and get someone else that wants to play for Chelsea. And also, it's important for the club owners and for the managers to start promoting from inside, you know, promote the youth players, promote the talent, and they will be less likely to want to leave the club. So it's again, you know, the Chelsea can only have itself to blame, because Chelsea was very much the same club. They used to buy everybody for more money, and now you know, what goes around comes around, you know, and Costa goes this season, but certainly in the middle of the season, the title could be at stake.
That's a real lack of loyalty, looking to jump ship when your team's top. midway through the season. That is really quite bad. And as Conte says, go to China. You know? But look, let's wait and see what happens. But for me, it looks like he's been itching to get away for a while, and that 30 million has made it more urgent. Let's put it that way.
I'll swim there for 30 million.
Mate, I'll do the toilets, mate. I'll shine shoes for 30 million a season, mate. I'll do that.
30 just shows how money has absolutely ruined the game. And like you say, they're on the brink. Well, not on the brink, obviously it's only halfway. But get top of the league. They keep going the way they go, and they're going to win the league. Now, surely, as a player, obviously that's every player's dream growing up to win things. Obviously they're a big team in the country, and just because of money, he wants to go. Money. There should be a cap on money. They should cap it. I mean, like you say, Carlos Tevez on £400,000 a week. Yeah. It's just ridiculous. I think athletes that take punches to the head should get 30 million. That's what I think. If you can push for that, mate, I'll be happy.
Now, guys, quick word to obviously Memphis Depay is set to go to Lyon. Now, Pascal, has he been a flop, or has he just not been given the right amount of time to flourish?
It's a bit disappointing. I mean, Memphis Depay. The problem with Depay, and everybody knew this before he came, is his attitude. Depay was very much a bit of a bad boy when he was at PSV Eindhoven. Louis van Gaal, probably wanted to bring, a bit more, a familiarity to the English game by bringing Dutch players. I mean, there was an influx of Dutch players when he was managing Manchester United.
And Barcelona back in the day as well.
And Barcelona, of course, a bit of bias if you ask me. But look, for Memphis Depay, if you remember, Frankie, we tried to say hello to him, and he didn't say hello to us back.
That was Joshua Molina fight.
Yeah, of course. All he had to do was wave. I mean, he doesn't know who we are.
Pep Talk Boyz.
Money's ruined the game. If they're celebrating now, don't they?
Of course, he just he has no respect. But look, I mean, Memphis, good luck for him in France. There's a buyback clause where Manchester United can buy back if he performs a lot better. In France, it'll be very difficult to understand a Dutchman speaking French. So I think he will have to concentrate on his football. And we'll see whether he's a talent that people expected him to be. But I mean, there are better teams to play for France. He should have gone to Monaco or even to Paris Saint-Germain, but he's probably not considered a good enough a player. And people's attitudes travel really far. If you remember Ravel Morrison, very good player at Manchester United. Good promising player, but the attitude let him down.
Too much, yeah.
And Memphis Depay is very much that kind of caliber of a player. Great talent. If we put his head down, he can become really, really good. But money gets to the head. A bit of egoistic attitude, and there you are. You end up playing for a mid-tier French club.
Especially when you got your own song, "Walking in Memphis."
Of course, yeah.
Them royalties are just gushing through,
Of course.
Okay, guys, that's our time. I'd like to thank Kenneth. I'd like to thank Pascal. I'd like to thank Louis. Join us again next week for another Pep Talk UK podcast. Boom.
Pep Talk